Hey everyone, and welcome back to an Introduction to Programming Remastered. In today's episode, we are going to be taking a break from learning about common programming statements and syntax, and instead take a look at what to do when your code just isn't working as you intended. And trust me, this will happen a lot, even to the best programmers. Specifically, we will be covering the different types of errors that you can encounter as you program, and the causes behind them. When you're writing any kind of code, you have to be prepared for your program to not perform the way you expect. Even the most simple programs can fail if you make a small mistake or misunderstand the control flow. Pieces of code, or the lack of them, which result in your program not running properly, are known as errors, or sometimes called bugs. While these can be very annoying to deal with, they are always going to show up in any program that you write, so it's important to understand what they are and how best to handle them. Errors can generally be placed into one of three categories: syntax errors, runtime errors, and logic errors, all of which we will be covering in today's video. Let's start with syntax errors. Syntax errors tend to be the easiest of the three types to solve, since they generally can be fixed by retyping a statement. Way back in episode 1 of this series, we went over syntax, and the importance of adhering to the syntax rules of the language that you are writing your program in. Failing to do so, as you may have guessed by now, results in a syntax error. Syntax errors tend to be very simple, like forgetting to end your line with a semicolon in Java, or indenting one too many times in Python, or defining two variables that have the same name, or misspelling print, or really any small mistake that you think wouldn't be such a big deal. However, they are such a big deal, and will absolutely cripple your computer's ability to interpret your program. As syntax errors are very easy to make, they tend to show up the most as you write your program. Luckily for all of us, as said before, they tend to be very easy to solve, as you only need to find where your error was and delete the line or retype it correctly. This process is made even easier if you are using a good IDE, which, if you don't remember what an IDE is just an interface that allows a programmer to write, compile, and run their program. If you want more information on IDEs, as well as a refresher on syntax, which are both very important when understanding syntax errors, check out the aforementioned episode 1 of this series, which will explain both of these concepts to you. In this case, IDEs are super useful, as they tend to indicate which line caused the error in a console message after you attempt to compile your program, and some will even give you the specific characters in the line that result in a syntax error. All you have to do is navigate to the correct line and fix it, which tends to be pretty easy, as syntax errors are easy to identify when you know where to look for them. The second type that we will be going over in this video is the runtime error. Unlike syntax errors, your program can still compile with runtime errors, as they don't show up until you run the code, hence the name runtime error. Runtime errors tend to be caused by a statement or set of statements in your code that seems like it would be logically sound and doesn't raise any syntax errors, but does lead to issues when you try to run your program, as, for example, it may be impossible for your computer to interpret the line in a reasonable amount of time. The most common type of runtime error is an infinite loop, which we covered in the previous episode in this series. However, to refresh your memory, infinite loops are loops which, once your program enters, cannot be exited, and thus your program is essentially stuck for all time in this loop, until you decide to give up and stop the program from running. You can think of them like this. Say you tell your friend to go to the store and only leave once they purchase milk. This sounds like a simple enough task. However, you've made a grave error, as once your friend got to the store, they found out that it doesn't sell milk. Uh-oh. Now your friend is never allowed to leave the store, as they are unable to buy milk, and cannot leave without doing so. This is essentially what you do to your computer when you write an infinite loop. Your computer, like your friend, will desperately try to satisfy the conditions for exiting the loop, given the instructions you gave it. However, when it cannot, it will not give up, and instead will fruitlessly try to do so anyway until the end of time. While not all infinite loops are bad, once again, watch the previous episode on loops for details, some are, and they will cause runtime errors. However, infinite loops are not the only type of runtime error. Another example of a runtime error is trying to divide a number by 0. Take this code, for example, which attempts to divide 1 by 0. When you compile your program, your computer will not find anything wrong with it, as it only checks that the syntax rules have been satisfied. In this case, they have, as you are using the division operator between two integers, which is what it expects. It doesn't actually carry out the computation just yet to see if it is actually possible. It is only during runtime that your computer tries to do this and realizes that it results in an undefined value, resulting in a runtime error. In general, to avoid runtime errors, you should check your code as you write it to ensure that everything you wrote makes sense and can be carried out by the computer when you run your code. The final type of error that we will be going over is a logic error. The logic error is caused by an error in the logic of your code, as you may have guessed from the name. What this means is that your code compiles without syntax errors, runs without runtime errors, but doesn't produce the result that it should have. For example, let's say that you are programming a game that has a character able to move left and right across the screen. You decided to code it so that the character moves left when you press the left arrow, and moves right when you press the right arrow. You compile and run your program, and you see your character on the screen. So far, so good. However, much to your chagrin, when you press the left arrow, your character moves right. While the code runs fine, it doesn't run correctly. What you likely did is you mixed up the instructions for moving left and right when the arrow keys are pressed. This is a logic error, and it can be very hard to spot before or even after you test your code. This is because the computer will not help you find logic errors in your code. It doesn't know if you want the character to move left or right when you press the left arrow, so it doesn't see mixing this up as an error. While sometimes the cause of a logic error can be simple, like this example, it can be much more difficult to understand when you're writing longer and more complex programs. For this reason, it's a good idea to write and test your code incrementally to prevent logic errors from running rampant in your code. If you write the entire game without testing it, and then when you run it you see that your character doesn't move correctly, can't jump, the screen is sideways, and you can't change levels, you will not have a fun time finding the root cause of these problems. However, if you write these one at a time, and ensure that each aspect of your game functions as intended before moving on to the next one, you will likely have an easier time solving any logic errors that might crop up. However, if you have logic errors, and the cause is not evident, you may have to use certain techniques to search through your code efficiently to find and solve the problem. This process is known as debugging, and will be the focus of the next video in this series. If you'd like to learn more about it, be sure to subscribe so that you will be notified when it comes out, and like this video if you enjoyed it. With that said, thanks for watching.